My clients always ask me, is it that me and my partner are incompatible, or is it that we can just heal our attachment style and we can have a healthy relationship? Welcome to this video. My name is Patrycja Mochocka and I'm the owner of the Love and Thrive School, where I show people how to shift from surviving to thriving and have lives of love, safety, and freedom. In today's video, I'm going to discuss the 3 points that you can check between you and your partner or the person that you're dating or potentially will be dating to see if there is a compatibility. Is it just an attachment style that is the problem? And these are minor issues that you can work through. And what are the issues that you cannot work through? So number one, I'm going to straight away get into it. Number one is needs. So do you or your partner not want to fulfill the other person's needs? Understand that relationships are based on need fulfillment. Therefore, if our partner doesn't like to fulfill our needs, if it is a huge task or a hassle, if they really have to work hard to fulfill our needs, this is a sign of incompatibility. So this could look like one partner needing a lot of reassurance, the other person not wanting to give that reassurance. And yes, you could say that this is the anxious preoccupied or the fearful avoidant and the dismissive avoidant dynamic. And yes, it is. So that could be a sign of incompatibility. I see with my couples who come to coaching that even if there is this combination of a mixed attachment style relationship, a lot of them do compromise and meet each other in the middle. But if your partner's needs or your needs for your partner just seem like this mountain that is insurmountable, that they cannot climb, it takes so much effort for them to give you more physical touch or phone you more or go and see your parents with you or have more sex, then that is a sign that there is an incompatibility. And if your needs are really painful for your partner to give, this is a sign that the relationship is not going to work. Because we need to feel good giving to our partner, and we want our partner to feel good giving to us. And this is a very big sign that there is incompatibility in a relationship if one partner finds it extremely challenging. So what you will see that even if the partner will try to show up in those ways, they will fail. So they might tell you, yes, I want to call you more, and they just won't because it's so difficult for them. And you might argue about it often, and these arguments will just circle back around over and over and over. And that is a sign that there is that incompatibility because the need that you need to be fulfilled, to be happy in a relationship, the other person cannot offer. Yes, this can get a little bit more nuanced because when we are at the beginning of our healing journey with attachment styles, we also want to become aware of, are we fulfilling our own needs? Or do we just want all of our needs to be met by our partner? Because that is also unhealthy. But I'm talking about when we are fulfilling our needs and then we know we have these very core needs that are extremely important to us. And those needs are not suitable, or your partner will find that extremely challenging or painful to give to you, say physical touch or more sex or more space in a relationship, then there's this incompatibility and the relationship is going to be strained. And you can stay in that relationship, but there will be a lot of fighting and it will just be very difficult and eventually there will be a breakdown. Number 2, values. If your values don't align, this is a very cliched old thing. We all know about it. We've heard about it all the time, but it's extremely important that our values align. So values are something that you're not willing to compromise and are extremely important in your life. Values can be something like honesty. So if one person in the relationship holds themselves and holds truth and honesty as a very high value, and the other person might think like, oh, you know what, it's okay if people tell white lies, or if they lie a little bit because they are insecure, and it doesn't bother them so much, but it bothers the other person, their partner. That is going to be a misalignment in values. And your values are something that are very deep and very important to you. Therefore, when they do not align, it's going to cause a lot of fights and a breakdown in relationships. So spot that from the start. Before you get into serious relationships, if possible, then check out what are your person's values. Are your values that of wanting to be around family, and the other person might value freedom a lot more and adventure. Now, the person who values freedom and adventure is going to be really miserable when you want them to go to your family get-togethers every single weekend, and that is not going to make them happy. You're going to fight about that a lot, and that is another sign of incompatibility. So examine, what are your values? What are the other person's values? And you can know what your values are because that's what you live by. So maybe your values are honesty, integrity, family, or freedom, or beauty. What do you value in life that you feel like you cannot live without? And often you will find those values as well, because you'll notice that you judge other people who do not live up to those standards and those values. Okay, so that doesn't mean they are necessarily wrong. It just means that they are incompatible with what you want in your life. And number 3, you have to examine your non-negotiables. And yes, your needs and your values can be a part of your non-negotiables. Your non-negotiables are a little bit more tricky to discuss on a video when we are not one-to-one, because they are very specific to each individuals. Your non-negotiables are your deal breakers. For some people, cheating is a very common deal breaker. Like, if my partner cheats, I am out of this relationship. That's it, I'm not going to work on it. For some other people, it's lies. For other people, it's things like smoking or drinking. So it just depends on you. You have to sit down with yourself and write down a list of absolute deal breakers that you're never going to put up in a relationship. A lot of people get this wrong, and I see people putting value on things like, oh, this person doesn't have the correct body shape that I want them to have, and then they throw away the potential of a very beautiful relationship because their preferences get in the way of what really matters. And what really matters in relationships is how the person treats you. Are they pacifying your personality? Do they add value to you? Do you have shared values? Do you feel that you complement each other? And that is when we are really compatible. We feel that we don't really complete one another, but we complement one another, right? So you have to figure this out in your relationship, because if you don't, a lot of the time you will just run into roadblocks, go around in circles, have the same fights over and over, and it's extremely draining for both people, and it brings out the worst in both people. And it's not necessarily that your partner is bad or you are bad, but because you are not aligned, you're bringing out the worst in each other, and that makes the relationship extremely toxic. And perhaps you're not toxic, you know, in other relationships perhaps you could show up differently because your needs are being met, your values are being respected and honored. So compatibility is very important for health of the relationship. And the rest is, you know, can you work on your attachment style? Yes, of course. Work on fulfilling your own needs, having good boundaries, feeling secure within yourself, and being able to meet your partner's needs in both directions, whether those needs are for space or those needs are for more closeness and reassurance and safety. And being able to compromise in the middle is also a sign that there is a good connection, partners are willing to work with each other instead of condemning each other for having these needs and having these desires, or sometimes even having wounds. We all have wounds, and the older we get, the more wounds a lot of the time we are carrying, right, with us, especially if we are only embarking on our healing journey later on in life. Of course, some people who have started the healing journey early on might have more healing experience and have healed through a lot more in their older years. So all of these videos are a little bit nuanced, but I'm going to cut it off here. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Patrycja Mahocka, and I help people to have great relationships, and most importantly, a relationship with themselves that is full of love, safety, and freedom. And I will see you in the next one. Big love.